Such joy. Isn't it wonderful? I'm not going to stand behind here. Such joy. And I had actually 2 titles for my talk this morning. The one that was printed, Visualize Yourself into Prosperity. But I had another one, because it has to do with visualization. This is very loud, isn't it? No? Good? Good? And the second title was, Believe Your Dreams. Believe your dreams. And most people don't realize it, but that is so biblical. Dreams are biblical. Without dreams, we would not have a Bible. Oh, you say, well, what are you talking about? Oh, come on now. I'm going to talk about visualize yourself into prosperity, because it has to do with what we've been talking about all month. But so many people, I used to teach intuitive development. Developing that intuitive sense about yourself and about others and about work and whatever it is. And I ask people, how many people can visualize? And I'm going to ask you that here. How many of you can visualize? Let me see your hands. Pretty good. How many cannot visualize? No one dares raise their hand? Way back there. Okay, I see you. And up there. Okay. But you actually do. When people tell me they cannot visualize, I said, that's not true. You just put yourself into that position. If you dream, you visualize. How many here dream? Let me see your hands. You see, because it is a part of us. It is natural. This is how we got the Bible. They didn't sit down and intellectually formed it. They got it through dreams. All right, this is what I'm going to talk about, and you're going to see what I'm meant by visualize yourself into prosperity. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, they are the founders of what we call the 3 monotheistic religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. 3. But what did they start with? How did they start? How did they find God? That's the first thing. I mean, we talk about it, is it in our abundance thing here. The first thing, what do we talk about? Is God, isn't it? Yes. That's the first thing that you read here, is God. Because God is life, health, wealth. God is all of that. So how did they do it? Look at it. We have a printed page. They didn't know anything about print. They had no book, no seminars, no classes, not even synagogues, right? No mosques, no temples. I'm talking about Abraham. What did they have? They had the temple and synagogue and church and power of their own body, their own heart, their own mind. Abraham didn't travel through the desert with a Bible under his arm. Isaac didn't either. Jacob, none of them. It wasn't until Moses And then when they put the 10 Commandments, they put it in stone. Today, people put the commandments, we make little tablets and booklets and everything else, but it was in stone. But that's why the prophet says, I'm going to make a new covenant with you. This is Jeremiah. He says, and I will not write the covenant on stone, but I will write it on the flesh of your hearts. We do not fully realize what we have as a body, as a mind. I know we work with it all the time here, but we don't fully appreciate our bodies and our souls and our minds. I don't care what you want to name them. It is the visualization, the power to visualize, the power to dream that brings things to pass. Okay. You think that you never existed until you got here. I'm going to tell you something I did not make up. But a famous scientist made this statement. And his name was Dr. Dan Taufik. Dr. Dan Taufik. Tawfik. And what did he say? He says, nothing evolves unless it already exists. I'm going to say it again. Nothing evolves unless it already exists. Which means we are not an accident of the universe. And we didn't come through natural selection by mistake. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what Darwin suggested. And he had a glimpse of something, but he didn't have the whole picture. And now science and biology, everything is awakening to the fact that we are not accidents. So if we're not accidents, we are here for a purpose. You are here for a purpose. You are living for a purpose. I don't care who you are, what your background is, or what you've been thinking about yourself. You have a purpose in life, and we need you, and life needs you. I need you, and you need me. Come on now. Realize the value of yourself. The value of yourself. The value of your life. That's why it's easy for people to kill each other, because they don't realize the value of their life. How valuable we are, how important we are, how powerful we are, how wonderful we are. We don't realize it. We shut ourselves down. Your life is valuable. Your life is important. That's why I said, visualize yourself. Realize the truth of who and what you are. Okay. Now, getting back into prosperity. If that isn't prospering, I don't know what isn't. If I can't be joyful and dance through life, I am a woeful person. I mean, to feel that life and really live it and realize your value. You say, well, how did the patriarchs do it? Well, we all are familiar with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You notice I didn't bring my Bible up today because I'm going to tell you a story in the Bible. It's in Genesis, the 26th chapter. Don't open it. Keep your Bibles closed. I'm telling it. But if you can check it up on me later afterwards, okay? But in the 26th chapter of Genesis, the 25th chapter of Genesis, Abraham has made his transition. He is gone. And Isaac is continuing. And he's in the land of Canaan. Canaan is what we call Israel today. But the original name was Canaan. It was not even called Palestine. It was called Canaan. And in the land of Canaan, they were traveling. They never did settle down. Abraham was partly nomad. Not completely, but partly, just constantly on the go, just all the time. And a famine broke out in the land. And Isaac now doesn't have his father with him. He's taken over the flocks and over the tribe that had come from Abraham, and he's taken it over. And this terrible famine has come. So he goes before he goes, he has a dream. And the Lord appears to him. And the Lord says to him, do not go down to Egypt. Don't do what your father did, Abraham, and go down into Egypt. He says, go to the land of the Philistines. Go to the king of Philistia. And his name was Abimelech. And so he went to Abimelech. And Abimelech said, yes, you can settle in the land here. He went to the city called Gadar. G-A-D-A-R, Gadar. Settle here. So he did. But something happened. Isaac began to prosper. I mean, really prosper. Now, Abraham had been there once and built wells in that area. But then he left. And now Isaac is there, but he's in the city of Gadar, and he becomes prosperous and rich and strong. And Abimelech, the king, didn't like it. So he came to him. He says, would you please leave? Because he was afraid he was getting powerful, strong. What did he do? You see, Isaac didn't sit down and visualize he was going to become something. He fell asleep, and his inner self visualized for him. His inner self visual. That's why some of you people, I tell you, believe your dreams, especially those good ones. But when I say believe your dreams, I mean the good ones. Because that's yourself visualizing, because you're not taking time out during the day to do it. Because you're too busy with everything else, right? And if you read these words, if you keep reading them every day, it's going to get through. And your body and mind will visualize it for you. Your consciousness opens up to it. And then you will see it. So that's why the Lord appeared to him and said, don't go to Egypt, go to Philistia. So he did. And in Philistia, he prospered and prospered and prospered. And finally the king said, get out. He became friendly because he was gaining in people. He was gaining in flocks. He was gaining in everything. And so to go. So Isaac was a gentle type of person. He didn't fight or resist anything that came against him. So what did he do? He went into the valley of Gadar, which the king didn't own, but he went into the valley. And he remembered the wells his father had dug. And now let me tell you, when you're reading the scriptures, we don't think as they did in the ancient Near East. The wells are your banks. Did you hear what I said? Your wells are your banks. I mean, we have banks. we don't think about wells, right? But without wells, you lose your people, you lose your flock, you lose the power to grow anything. No water. No water. Wells was what made you rich. No wells, no flocks. No wells, no nothing, right? Today we use the green stuff. I mean, they didn't have green stuff then. But the principle is the same. That's what I want you to see. The principle is the same. We don't dig wells, right? We don't do any of that. We have a different system today. But the principle applies whether it's in the ancient world or in the modern world. And the same thing has to work. It has to work. And so he redug the wells. Why did he have to redig them? Because the Philistines, when Abraham had left, the Philistines had polluted Abraham's wells and filled it with dirt. So they dug it up, and it wasn't quite good enough. Finally, they dug a well, and they hit a spring. A spring. Whoa. It says living water. In the Bible, living water means a spring. Why do they call it living? Because it moves. You know, a brook would be called living water. Anything that moves is living water. And you know, when Jesus said, he that believes in me shall out of his what? Innermost self shall be what? Living water, which means spring of truth that never runs out. You found a spring, a hidden spring. But here, Isaac found this, his servants found this well with this spring springing up into life. Oh, this is wonderful. And the other herdsmen who were there said, you have no rights to it. Uh-oh. And how often have we heard that? You get a little bit of joy, right? You get happy and everything, and there's always that someone that comes along. Huh? You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Yes. Comes along and says, what are you doing with that? You think you're so right? Come on now. And if someone doesn't do it, all of a sudden your own head does it. Right? To talk you out of it. And that's what we do. We get talked out of it, either to ourselves or someone else helps you talk out of it. Out of the joy, out of that inner sense of who and what you are. So, they said, no, this is our spring. This is our well. You cannot have it. What did Isaac do? Fight them? Hey, look, we dug this. This is ours. No. He says, okay, take it. Take it. In fact, they named the wells. They named them. Give them personal names. Every well. That's where we get the term Beersheba. Beersheba. Beer in Aramaic means well. And Sheba means seven. 7 wells. Abraham had dug 7 wells. But here Isaac, because of the contention there, he named it the well of difficulty. Contention. So he's not going to stay at the well of contention. Go dig another well. So we lost that wonderful spring. Go dig another well. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm telling you here? Go dig another well. When something's drying up on you, when something's drying up on you, go dig another well. Don't be afraid. Isaac would not fight. He was not contentious. I love his name, Laughter. Laughter would not contend. He went and he dug another well. And when he dug that other well, it was prosperous too. But some more herdsmen came. And so he had to rename that well again. And he called it difficulty. Difficulty. That's what it means in Aramaic. The well of much difficulty. Because every time he'd dig and dig. And let me tell you something. Don't be afraid to dig. And if it becomes difficult, you know what I'm saying? Leave it. Go dig another well. Go dig another well. So that's exactly what he did. And he kept moving away from those who were contentious and wanted to take those wells from him. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? Move away from those who are contentious. Move away from your own contentious thoughts that rob you of that living well that is a part of you. That talk you out. That's why we have these. To get you to read and fill your mind with this, with a truth in it, so you don't talk yourself out of it. And create difficulties and contention. So he dug another well. I love it. The third well. The third well. And he dug it, and he called it plenty. Plenty. The well of plenty. And then the Lord appeared unto him again. Again, his inner self visualized. His inner self visualized. And said, I am with you. I'm going to multiply your seed just as I was with your father Abraham and your children, your descendants, everything. And his flocks increased. Everything increased. Everything. And when the flocks increased, then they lived off the byproducts. And the byproducts made them wealthy and healthy. Because they had the bank running. You know what I'm talking about? That well. That well. So then the king of Philistia came to him again. Came to him again. And what did he say to him? He said, I know God is making you a blessing. In other words, instead of turning from him, he says, you are blessed. Let's make a covenant. Because you see, you're becoming too strong, and I'm afraid of you. You're becoming too strong, and I'm afraid of you. And I loved Isaac. Laughter. Laughter said, okay, let's make a covenant. I will not fight against you, even though I'm becoming mighty and strong. Oh, I wish we had this in today's world. Right? I'm talking about governments and nations, and instead of envying, bless each other. Be at peace with each other. Because Isaac was becoming stronger and stronger, so that king was wise. I'm going to make peace with this man that I shoved out of my city. And he made peace with him. I love that. Peace with him. And when he had that peace with him, then all of a sudden they left, and a group of his servants came running to Abraham. And they said, to Isaac. And they said to Isaac, we have a well now. We've found greater living water. More abundant, more springs. when you don't contend and you don't fight and you trust the living God in you and you visualize the truth of who you are and what you are, you'll always find the spring that do not have difficulty or contention and spring up in you, and you find the true self that holds you, and people will come and make peace with you. And you prosper, visualize. And if let me tell you, don't worry about visualization. I even teach people how to visualize. It's easy how to do that. But let me tell you, the vision, for instance, when God used the word, he says, let there be light. But let me tell you, before God said, let there be light, he had to visualize the light. He had to see that light. So God, he said, let there be light. What is light? Light is nothing until you see it. Let the waters recede. In other words, that image was always there, and he brought it forward. Creation is bringing the hidden out into the forefront. That's all creation is. What is it? Talk about your physical body. It's hidden in your mama and your papa. Your body was hidden there, right? And it was in those little cells, right? In the man. And hidden in the egg of the mama. You don't see it. And out of pure joy, it joined. It joined. But just, today we have microscope, we can see them, Just little things. And look what big things we got. Look at that. And you have bones, right? That means that was always there. It was always there. But it took a coming together. And the visualization of mama and papa. Let's have a baby. Let's have a little human being. Little thing that has fingers and nose and eyes and feet and legs and Come on now. Come on, folks. Get with it here. You were always there in the heart and mind of your mother and your father. And through visualization and coming together physically, they took what was invisible and made you visible. Made you visible. And it's the same thing with truth. You make it visible by how you feel, by how you think, and how you see. Realize the truth of who and what you are and visualize yourself into prosperity, into health, wealth, joy, dance, love, everything that you need to really live in this world. Right? That's what you are. And you do it because you see it, you feel it, you know it. Believe your dream.